This video is an unusually difficult sell. The thing is the following. Thanks to a series of unfortunate but unavoidable mishaps, I recently happened to scribble down way too many thoughts about the design and implementation of the blue coins in Super Mario Sunshine. So suddenly I sat there, unsure what to do with my blue coin scribblings. You know, on the one hand it's a bit of a weird topic for a video, but on the other hand, this channel has a long and honestly quite proud history and tradition of me waffling about how much I hate coins for unreasonably long. So I thought it might be best just to roll with this. So today we're going to take a deep dive into my love-hate relationship with the blue coins in Super Mario Sunshine. We will not only discuss how the blue coins succeed at what they set out to achieve, but also why they fail miserably at the same time. We will not only try to find out what went wrong with them, but we will hopefully also learn about a couple of interesting and often lesser discussed crimes in game design that the blue coins commit. So you ready? Let's do this! So before we start to rip and tear our way through all the different problems of blue coins, we probably should quickly establish how they work in the game in the first place, shouldn't we? There are a total of 30 of those very blue coins hidden per Super Mario Sunshine stage. Another 20 coins live happily in Delfino Plaza, and the final 10 are hidden inside the unfortunately named Corona Mountain. That is as much fun as its name suggests, by the way. Whenever we find a total of 10 of those blue coins, we're able to trade them for a wonderful shine sprite. So 24 out of the 120 shines in Sunshine are tied to finding all of the 240 blue coins. Hooray! The coins are obtained by a lot of different and honestly quite fun activities. Some require us to succeed in a small speedrun challenge, others just lie around in the open. Some require us to solve a small puzzle, others to clean graffiti off of walls, and some are simply rewarded for performing the altruistic task of extinguishing burning villagers. They're basically mini objectives hidden throughout all of Sunshine's colorful stages. Think of them like the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. They are random exploration-based objectives, and I think they're brilliant. I also hate this system. So let's start our thorough investigation of those coins by taking a look back at Super Mario 64. Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine are two really interesting games to compare. Both games feature a very similar structure, yet they end up being completely different nonetheless. Both games, for example, feature a set amount of star objectives that we're able to choose whenever we enter a stage. At first glance, the games use the exact same system, but that's only at first look, because Super Mario Sunshine expects the player to play all of those 8 missions in order, while that is not the case in Super Mario 64. Lots of the stars in 64 can be collected out of order. You know, we might start the mission that wants us to throw the evil bullying bullies into the exceptionally hot liquid, but instead of debullying the lethal lava land, we might turn to our left and collect the red coins, or we explore to our right and rescue the lonely star living on this platform. Or maybe we even explore the inner of the volcano and collect one of the stars hidden within. The point here is that as soon as we leave the path of our current objective, we already are on the path towards a new one. Pretty much every part of every stage is used for something. There are no areas that don't serve a purpose. But in Sunshine, that is no longer the case. The game expects us to collect the different shines in order. It is still possible to do some objectives out of order, but we really have to go out of our way for it to happen. And honestly, I'm okay with that. On the one hand, it obviously makes the game far more linear, which is a bit of a shame, but on the other hand, it allows the team to tell small stories within the worlds, like that there is a sandbird about to hatch, or that the water in the Noki Bay is poisoned at first, and that we have to clean it before we are able to take a dive. You know, nothing of this is revolutionary storytelling, but it is a nice touch, and arguably it is worth it to have more linear mission structures in order to have small stories and drastic setting changes in the different stages. But, and this is where the blue coins finally come back into the picture again. If the different missions are far more linear than they were in Mario 64, then we need a system that rewards exploration. Going off of the main path in Mario 64 means that we probably just walk towards a different objective. Leaving the main path during a Sunshine mission means that we go nowhere. There is no other shiny to be found. The only area featuring gameplay is where the current objective takes place. Or at least that would be the case if it weren't for the blue coins. The blue coins are, at least in my reading, designed to mitigate this problem. They allow the team to put down a speedrun challenge or a mini puzzle or whatever in every corner of the map that is not used for the current shine rescuing mission. They had to populate the otherwise lifeless levels. They give us small bursts of fun gameplay like a quick race in areas that would otherwise be unused. They are really important to make Sunshine stages feel full of content and meaningful things to do, and I love them. Without those silly little blue siblings of normal coins, Sunshine's 7 different worlds would feel so much flatter flatter and so much more boring. Every spot on the map is rewarding to explore. They're a core part of the design of Super Mario Sunshine's levels. Yet I absolutely hate those things. So what went wrong? Well, there are two unrelated things where the coins completely fall flat. So problem 1 is that they feel horrible to collect. Problem 2 is that they're a great system, framed in the worst way possible. So let's start by talking about game feel. Hollow Knight is an incredibly impressive game. It is a game that was only developed by 3 people. It is a game that features more meaningful content than most AAA games do nowadays. It is a game that features an exciting lore, mysterious places to explore, dangerous bosses to encounter, thrilling platforming challenges to master, and a combat system that is not only easy to learn and hard to master, but also feels amazing to use. So there are several things that I personally find fascinating about Hollow Knight, but just to talk about one. The way they handle taking damage. What happens when we take damage is that the entire game freezes for a second. The first couple of times the entire game froze, it actually alienated me so much that I still remember it up until today. It's such an unconventional design choice to press the pause button to stop the entire game from playing just to highlight what an horrible mistake we just made. The reason Hollow Knight always stops the game when we get hit, at least according to my theory, made out of foil and tin, is because it really feels painful to stop the game. Like we're playing the game, we are really enjoying ourselves, everything flows, and then suddenly everything stops for a moment. We are unable to do anything. It almost feels painful to get torn out of the flow of our gameplay in such a brutal way. And it is such a brilliant way to design a failure system like this. So first, the short break ensures that we always are able to notice how exactly we took damage. Like if we take damage because we didn't notice a projectile or something, we have a short second to realize what exactly our mistake was before the action goes on. But second, designing damage in a way that feels inconvenient for the player is such a clever way to handle things. We not only do not want to take damage because the game tells us that damage is bad, but the brutal way the game freezes also feels really bad for the actual player whenever it happens. It gives us an intrinsic motivation to avoid damage, because breaking the flow of the game just feels so ridiculously bad. So what has this to do with Super Mario Sunshine's blue coins? Well, collecting blue coins in Sunshine works the same way. Whenever we collect a blue coin, a huge prompt opens up asking us whether we want the game to save. So spoiler alert, yes, we do want to save. And then it takes a second until all the important saving is done before the prompt finally goes away. It completely brings the game to a halt. Picking up one of the blue coins basically has the same effect that taking damage in Hollow Knight has. It completely freezes the game. So I obviously can't speak for everybody, but I always loathe the moment I pick one of those dumb coins up, simply because of the horrible break to the flow of the gameplay that the silly save prompt causes. But there is actually another thing about the game feel of those coins that drives me crazy. Like, this is probably just a pet peeve of mine, but I hate that the blue coins don't count as coins. Whenever I collect one of those and my coin counter remains the same, it just feels so wrong. They can't have the coins to count as actual coins since they disappear after being collected once. And if they were to count as coins, it would cause all sorts of complications with the 100 coin stars. But honestly, I don't know, like, if your coin isn't going to count as a coin, then maybe think about the coin part of your coin design again. So collecting a coin painfully breaks the flow of gameplay, while not even providing us with nasty coins for the coin counter. Those are the problems that I have with the coins on a micro level. But there is actually a much bigger problem here as well, because the coins don't work on a macro level either. There is this one blue coin at the bottom of the lake in Bianco Hills that is symptomatic for the biggest problem of the blue coins. Except there isn't. This coin is only sometimes there, during the 7th and the 8th mission to be precise. We can enter the stage during any other mission and this coin won't appear. Tons of blue coins work like that in the game. Most of them are exclusive to certain missions and just not available at all times. Some are tied to Yoshi, who only appears sometimes. Others are tied to altruistically extinguishing burning villagers that are only on fire during certain shines, and some, like the Lake Blue coin, only appear once or twice. And that is a problem, even though it kind of isn't. So look, the fact that some coins are only available during certain missions simply means that we can't clear an area during any specific shine rescuing attempt. There could be a new coin hidden whenever we change the objective. In a certain way, that is actually great. No matter which mission we enter, there will always be new secrets for us to find. It means that exploring during a mission will be rewarding every time. It's kind of brilliant. The fact that tons of coins are only available sometimes gives us so much to explore. on paper. But this system of the coins being tied to certain missions is also one of the most glaring problems of Super Mario Sunshine, at least in my humble dominion. The problem isn't the system, however, it's how the system is framed. So what do I mean by framing? For those not familiar, framing is actually a concept of political communication theory. The idea is basically that our perception of reality changes depending on the frame in which we think about reality. So I don't want to spend too much time here, but just to give you an idea of what I'm waffling about, let's do a super quick thought experiment. Let's quickly pretend that we want to organize a political lobby group with the honorable goal to forbid all forms of loot boxes in video games within the next 10 years. How exciting. So thanks to our gigantic efforts, we managed to make it into the national news cycle and have a chance to state that we want to ban all loot boxes. So take a look at these 3 different statements. We believe that all forms of loot boxes should be illegal. Versus, we believe that real money gambling should be illegal in video games. Versus, we believe that real money slot machines should be forbidden in video games since they encourage children to develop gambling habits. You see the difference? All 3 of the sentences basically say the exact same thing. We want to ban loot boxes. But the first one simply states this, the second one says the same thing but frames loot boxes as real money gambling, while the third sentence frames the issue as an issue of children becoming addicted to slot machines because of Fortnite or something. It's one thing to say that someone is okay with loot boxes. It's a completely different thing to state that we think children becoming gambling addicts is okay for us. All 3 sentences are about the same topic, yet the frame in which we present it completely changes how people perceive what we say. And at the end of the day, this frame might even change how someone ends up thinking about the topic. There are permanent fights in society just over the terms we use when discussing topics. Do we refer to loot boxes as surprise mechanics or as gambling systems? Do people park their money in a tax heaven or in a tax swamp? Is it climate change or do we call it climate crisis? The simple way something is framed has fascinating outcomes on how the entire societal discourse plays out. All of this stuff is super fascinating and has super nothing to do with Super Mario Sunshine's blue coins. So why do I bring this up? Well, the way something is framed is able to change how we perceive something entirely in politics. But at least in my opinion, the way a system is framed is also able to completely change how players interact with the system in video games. And the blue coins in Super Mario Sunshine are a brilliant system, framed in the worst way possible. They are framed to be part of 100%ing the game. Collecting blue coins rewards shines, which frames them to be content that is on the same level as all the different missions are. Collecting all 120 shines in Mario Sunshine is the goal of the game. And since the blue coins are part of this, collecting all of them is part of beating the game. But if we perceive them to be required, the whole system collapses. The fact that some coins only appear during some missions suddenly is no longer a cool mechanic that means that there is always something hidden for us to find, but it turns into an incredibly tedious search where we have no way to find out in which mission the coins appear that we are missing. Doing a small speedrun challenge from point A to point B of a level no longer feels like a fun side objective, but like mandatory content required to really complete the game. Finding a cool hidden coin in a hard to see and even harder to reach location no longer feels like we stumbled over a small secret that others might miss, but turns into this tedious part of the gameplay loop where we are forced to scan every part of every stage thoroughly. The fact that they framed the coins to be part of the shine system is where an otherwise excellent system changed into something rotten. There are 2 very recent examples of Nintendo games that use similar systems, but frame their systems to be optional content, and suddenly everything works brilliantly. It's Mario Odyssey's Moons and Breath of the Wild's Korok Seeds. The reason Nintendo never shows us how many of the 900 Korok seeds we are missing in Breath of the Wild is because they want to avoid at all costs that people get the feeling that they aren't done with the game before they haven't collected all of them. The maximum item upgrade happens after finding only 441 of those seeds, and Nintendo tries to frame this as the point at which we are done with the Korok seeds for this playthrough. Because if people were led to believe that they're supposed to find all of them, that would lead to incredibly tedious experiences. The only way a system like the Korok Seeds works is if there are more of them than the player is supposed to find, and if collecting all of them feels optional. Just imagine for a second that the 120th shrine would be to collect all 900 Korok Seeds. That would mean that completing all the shrines in Breath of the Wild would suddenly be 10,000 times more tedious. The same thing is true for the blue coins in Super Mario Sunshine. The only way the blue coins in Mario Sunshine are a fun and exciting system that rewards exploration is if the player is not expected to find all of them. Yet if collecting them is rewarded with shines, then collecting them is framed as necessary. and suddenly the whole system collapses. If the blue coins were used to, I don't know, buy optional water capacity upgrades for flood or additional life points or fun but useless cosmetics or anything else honestly, I believe people would love them. That would be the exact same system, but collecting the coins would suddenly be framed to be for optional, useful rewards instead of being required to complete the game. Suddenly the system is less frustrating. The blue coins in Super Mario Sunshine are the reason why I almost never go for total completion when I replay the wonderful game that Sunshine otherwise is. I always go for 120 stars in 64. I always collect 120 stars in Galaxy. I usually grab 500 moons when replaying Odyssey. But when I play Sunshine, I usually go for something like 100-ish shines and call it a day. It's really a pity that the blue coins are designed in the way they currently are, because it makes completing the game so incredibly tedious, while searching and finding blue coins on paper would be so much fun. So that's the reason why I have a love-hate relationship with the blue coins in Super Mario Sunshine. They feel horrible to collect since they not only are a coin that doesn't count as a coin, but also stops the game in the same way other games punish failure. Collecting and searching for the coins is a ton of fun and really breathes life into the different stages of Super Mario Sunshine. But tediously screening all the different missions, looking for the last couple of coins missing, completely undermines the original point of the system and sadly makes completing the game really tedious. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you did, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and maybe feel especially like hitting prompts that save something today and want to save this channel to your subscriptions. So I hope that all of you have a wonderful day and to see you soon. Goodbye!